Zoax.net. Lesson 26. Addresses and Times. Addresses and times are two more types of specialized text. I'm covering them in a separate video because they are a little different. This document contains a simple example address enclosed in an address element. The address is formatted with line breaks, and I put text above and below it for illustration. Opening this document, we see the surrounding text on separate lines, indicating that the address element is a block-level element. Also notice that the address element styles its content in italics by default, and there is no additional margin or padding above or below the address. Even though we use the address element for a street address in the first example, addresses are used for any type of contact information, like a URL or an email address. This document contains a more typical usage of an address element. The address is used to convey contact information for the owner or creator of a web page or HTML document, and is usually placed at the bottom, as we do here. Opening this document, we see the content of the document with the address containing links to our URL and email placed below it. The space above the address is due to the margin on the paragraph element above it. Here we give another example to emphasize the fact that the address element is intended to convey contact information for the creator of a document. It is not intended to be used for random addresses that might be contained within the document or other unrelated information. In this document, we have some content, an address, and the copyright information. Opening this document, we see the address in italics just above the copyright. We have only a little text above the address, but we can imagine that we might have a page full of content above the address on a typical page, with some other information like a copyright at the bottom with the address. For our next example, we look at the time element. The time element can be used to contain times, dates, and periods of time. Here we have a message about the hours that some business is open. The time elements are placed around the opening and closing times. Opening this document, we see this. The message with the business's hours is displayed with all of the text the same. That is, the time element does not style its containing text by default. You might be wondering why the days Monday and Friday are not inside time elements. The reason is that the time element does not properly represent days of the week like this, as we will see. In this example, we demonstrate how we can use the time element to designate a precise time and date using the datetime attribute. The miracle of the sun happened at noon on October 13th in 1917. We give a human-readable version of the date inside the time element, and a machine-readable version in the datetime attribute. This machine-readable datetime can be read by programs to generate a specific time and date. Opening this document, we don't see anything special. The datetime attribute is not apparent, nor is the time element. Those are strictly for reading with programs or styling. The datetime attribute can be set to a variety of different types of values to specify years, months, weeks, dates, local or global dates and times, days, or periods of time. If you are interested, you can find a complete list of specifications in this table on our website in the HTML reference section. In our final example, we remark that the datetime attribute is also available for the delete and insert elements, as we show here. On a side note, there is no way of specifying the years before Christ, or BC. The date that I specified for both attributes here is January 1st of the year 1. Opening this document, we see the deletion and insertion as we specified them. Again, the datetime attribute does nothing that is visible on the page. That is, it does not change the presentation at all by default.